All right, part 2. We're going to talk about the Cherokee and the removal of the Cherokee. Georgia's other main Indian tribe was the Cherokee, who lived in north and western Georgia. They created an advanced society with a constitution and independent government. John Ross was their leader during the removal from Georgia. In 1791, the U.S. government signed a treaty guaranteeing that the Cherokee Nation could be an independent nation and have its own government. The Cherokee government was modeled after the U.S. federal government and was led by Chief John Ross. He was the son of a Scottish father and a part Cherokee, part Scottish mother. The problem with the Cherokee was that in 1828, white Georgians began lobbying for Cherokee removal from the state. They had already pushed the Creeks out, and now they wanted the Cherokee out. Around this time, gold was discovered in the region, in Dahlonega, and pretty much sealed the deal on the Cherokee losing their land. The Dahlonega gold rush brought thousands of settlers who put more and more pressure on the Cherokee to move. In 1828, Georgia lawmakers said that state laws were now in effect in Cherokee lands, which had never really been the case. The General Assembly began passing laws denying the Cherokee rights to both the land and the gold. In 1830, Congress passed what's called the Indian Removal Act, which ordered all Indians east of the Mississippi River to leave their homes and move west. The Cherokee Nation fought the removal, and Chief John Ross argued their case before the United States Supreme Court. In 1832, Chief Justice John Marshall ruled in favor of the Cherokee in a court case known as Worchester versus Georgia. The decision declared that the Cherokee Nation was a sovereign nation, its own country, and did not need or have to obey Georgia law or U.S. federal law. But President Andrew Jackson was frustrated by the decision, and he chose to ignore it. He believed firmly in Indian removal and wanted to get the Cherokee out of Georgia. By not enforcing the Supreme Court ruling, Jackson did not meet his constitutional requirements as president. Worcester versus Georgia should have protected Cherokee lands from white settlement, but it did not. Because it was not enforced by President Jackson, nothing was done to protect the Cherokee, and Georgians continued to settle in Cherokee land. In 1835, the U.S. government forced the Cherokee to sign a treaty giving up all of their lands in Georgia. In 1838, the U.S. Army forcibly rounded up the 14,000 men, women, and children of the Cherokee Nation. The troops forced the Cherokee on an 800-mile march across the southeast to Indian Territory in Oklahoma. More than 4,000 men, women, and children died from disease, starvation, and exposure to the cold weather during the 6-month trek. The Cherokee called it the Trail Where They Cried. Today, it is known as the Trail of Tears. Here was our map that we looked at. Number 5 shows the Cherokee. Number 2 is where the creek were. The last thing that I'm going to go over are our second questions. Which side did Georgians' Native American tribes side with during the Revolutionary War? And why? The British, because the Brits told them they would give them their land back. William McIntosh was murdered by fellow Creeks because he signed the Treaty of Indian Springs, which gave up all Creek land in Georgia. The Dahlonega Gold Rush impacted the Cherokee because it sealed the deal to kick the Cherokee out, because more and more pressure was being put on them to be kicked out. In your opinion, how might the fate of the Cherokee Nation have been different if gold had not been discovered in Dahlonega? Some people said that they think that the Cherokee would have remained. Other people, like me, believe that eventually they would have been moved out. How did the Cherokee react to the Indian Removal Act? They filed a lawsuit against the state of Georgia. Who was the Supreme Court chief? Who was the Cherokee chief who argued the Worchester versus Georgia case before the Supreme Court? John Ross. What was Chief Justice John Marshall's ruling in the case? That the Cherokee had rights to the land and were a sovereign nation. How did President Jackson feel about the Supreme Court ruling? He was frustrated at it. He wanted the Indians out and ignored it. The Trail of Tears were the trails the Indians took from the southern lands to Oklahoma. And it's called the Trail of Tears because many lives were lost. There was a devastating effect, and 4,000 Cherokees will die. Andrew Jackson, U.S. President, hashtag U.S. President, hashtag support Indian removal. John Ross, hashtag Cherokee leader, hashtag intelligent leader. John Marshall, hashtag Supreme Court Justice, hashtag support Cherokee Nation. And William McIntosh, hashtag Creek Chief, hashtag gave up land. I did 3. Land lottery official, hashtag here's land, hashtag try your luck. Abraham Baldwin, hashtag go UGA, hashtag go dogs. And, ignore my drawing, Eli Whitney, cotton gin, hashtag inventor, hashtag cotton gin. This is what you need to know. There's lots of questions, there's matching, there's things that you can learn from this packet that you need to make sure that you have this packet completed in its entirety.